What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, we're back working on the black 4Motion Bora, finally putting it back on its wheels and hopefully taking it for a kind of semi-test drive. So let's see how we go. Alright, so to be able to get this car back on the wheels, these are the parts we need to install. So we've got the control arms, which are removed to fit the subframe, which was a pain in the ass, so it was actually easy to take them off. So now I have to reinstall them, reinstall the drive shafts, the dog bar mount as well, and that should mean that I can get this car back on its wheels. I'm not going to worry about the front end just yet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it down the wheels, start it and drive it. I'm going to obviously try and bungee cord the condenser up somewhere out the way. But yeah, I'm going to try and drive it back and forth, make sure it actually drives under its own power first before I go ahead and just put it all back together again, try and drive it, and then I'm going to pull it apart again. So alright, so now it's running a bit. Then make sure the gear linkages are all good. So clutch in the first, and it moves by itself. And then in reverse, and moving by itself too. So now the gear linkages are all lined up. We can go ahead and put the front end back together again. Alrighty, so here we have all the front end ready to go. Bumper bar, radiator support, and the fans and radiator. Now as you can see as well, all the screws are back in their places. So I know where they belong, nothing gets lost, and we can just crack on with this job and get this back onto here. Alright, so the fans and the radiators are now mounted to the AC condenser. Now it's time to mount this over to the rad support. Now, as you can see on the edge of your radiator, you have these sliding brackets like with rubber bushes inside and screws. So these are like little locating tabs. They have to slide into here, there, and there. So it's essentially a two-person job. One person to hold the radiator support in place, and another person to mount the radiator. I normally do it by myself. Bit of a struggle, but we'll get there in the end. So let's give it a crack and see how we go. Yeah. just like that, the front end is on. The T30s here are a bit tricky because the radiator wants to fall backwards, so you kind of like got to pull it forwards and guide that little mount into the bracket behind the radiator support, and then just bolt them up each side. Yeah, not the hardest, but it's easier with two people. Obviously, because I kept the condenser plumbed in as well, it made it a bit harder. Obviously, if you did detach it and all that kind of stuff, that nonsense, then yeah, it's easier. But then you have to go ahead and regas the air conditioner and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't feel like releasing the gas into the atmosphere, so I do it that way with all the cars. We'll take the front end off, and then yeah, for the 13 mils that holds on the radiator support to the chassis rails as well. Because it's obviously an older car, you can actually see where the bolts used to be, so I'll just line them up as that as well. I don't try and readjust it as such. Once the bumper bar does go on, you may have to readjust it a little bit, but with my experience, I haven't really had much of an issue. Maybe tweak it a little bit. And obviously up here as well, you got the 10s that holds the top part to the rear support to the chassis as well. So now that that's all back together again, I'm gonna start plumbing up the radiator, which is hard to see because it's dark in here, but top one, bottom one, all the rest of the hose is all plumbed up. For some reason I have this kind of fitting here that has a fitting underneath it as well. I've just had to put a bung in it with a hose because it's actually the wrong fitting. God knows where the guy got it from, but it's not for the car. But she'll be right for now. If I can find a replacement for it, I will. Obviously, if that holds and doesn't leak, then wing it as well. So, yeah, so far so good. Obviously, we got odd end, so we're gonna get plug that in. Hood latch cable has to go back on as well. And then fill it with coolant and see whether she holds any coolant. If she does spill any, then we'll just tighten them up and go from there. Alright, so all the hoses are now connected. Upper, lower, the fan controls are all plugged in, everything else is all plugged in. Now it's time to fill in the coolant. Let's see if we have any leaks. Start it up and hopefully get out all the air pockets as well. Alright, so kind of taking the bottle out. It is absolutely full of crud, so I'm going to clean it out before I install it and before I put new coolant in, because I don't want this crap going through my nice clean engine. And here's what we're going to use. We're going to use the red Penrite OEM coolant in the concentrate. We're going to dilute with the demineralized water as well. Yeah, this is what I use. You know, you can go to Volkswagen and buy your own coolant or whatnot, but as long as it's the right color and obviously the right I don't know, formula as such. No green, none of the bullshit colors. Only red for these cars. You put green on one of these things, it's not gonna like it, that's for sure. So chuck in some red and be done with it. Alright, so get the car idling, get it to consume this coolant. Gets low, just keep topping back up again. Just like so. Without making a mess. And just keep topping it up until it gets up to temperature, and then make sure it's at the max line. Sometimes what I'll do is as well, I fill it up without the engine on and just give the hoses a good squeeze to try and work it around as well a bit. But yeah, as long as this doesn't get empty, and then you're golden. Alrighty, so 90 degrees, seems to be idling fairly kind of stable, I'm going to say. Engine's just purring nicely. Coolant level staying steady. and we have 0 leaks, which is very uncommon for a Mark IV. How good. Alright guys, so runs and drives sweet. Just took it around the block. It's up to temperature. Has a couple of fault codes still, ABS, airbags and whatnot. Brakes are a bit spongy as well, which is not obviously ideal to drive, so I've got to try and bleed the brakes again. I'll scan it and figure out all the fault codes. And also the temperature here and the AC system reads in Fahrenheit, not Celsius, so I'll have to do some research on that too. The radio doesn't work as well, so that's something else I need to try and deal with as well. But yeah, so far so good. I'm going to slap the bumper bar and the grill on and hopefully tie the loose ends up and have a roadworthy car again. So excited. So excited. It's been a while now to get this car done, so I'm kind of cheering that it's nearly there, like maybe 99% there, got 1% to go. Sweet. Hopefully it should be nothing too major. Don't think it should be, I think maybe a sensor or something, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so we're almost there. We just need to check on the headlights, the bumper bar and the grille, and we are completely done for this video. How good does it look now? It's finally complete. Grille on, headlights, bumper bar. I even managed to glue on the 6 and the V that I found in the parts pile as well. So now it's a fully complete grille with the chrome slats. How good does it look? So happy now that it's actually back together again. Obviously, I haven't done the lower grills yet. That's something I can do at a later stage, but finally looks like a car again, unless like a car at the junkyard, really, in pieces. So that is so satisfying to see. And obviously, yeah, it needs a wash and that, but that'll be on the next video. Stay tuned for the next video. Going to be doing a little bit of the kind of the smaller pieces that I need to do, like the brakes, the steering wheel. It needs to be done as well because the airbag is obviously sitting contacting at the rear behind the airbag. So it's just the horn is on the whole time once you put the battery in. Not pleasant at all. And obviously the neighbours won't be liking that, so I'll have to fix that as well. So it'll be that, brakes, and the radio too. I don't think the radio actually works, so I need to figure that out, but that'll be the next video, guys. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give me a thumbs up if you're liking the content so far. And we're finally at the stage now where we can actually get this car roadworthy and back on the road again. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.